So today we have got Aaron Driver. Thank you so much, Aaron, for coming in. So
No
you've
worries.
come from the Sustainable Port Association.
That's correct.
Which is a bit of a mouthful, and
Yes.
I do tend to get it wrong.
Yes.
So I will refer to you as the association. Well,
Yeah,
not you
no,
in general,
that's
but
fine.
thanks for coming to see us in Bristol today. So thanks for coming over to Vanaways.
My absolute pleasure. It's,
Brilliant.
Fantastic for you to invite me over.
No worries. We've seen our setup today, so
Brilliant.
obviously you got a good understanding of what Vanaways does and
Yeah.
and all about our mission. Tell us a little bit about you and your background. Like how did you start the association?
Ports, really.
Okay.
I think it's kind of a bit of an untold fetish of mine. Yeah.
People are into all sorts.
Absolutely, yeah. Ports is one of them.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time over in Spain. Used to travel over to Gibraltar quite a lot. Got talking to all the guys over in Gibraltar. Kind of fell in love with it. Went back to the UK. Went up to the Midlands, and just ports really. Just ports. Fell in love with the ports, and one of the things I focused on, which obviously speaking to the ports over the various years, was sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a few years ago, it wasn't so in demand. But obviously, with everything coming up to sustainability, everyone's got to be carbon neutral by 2050. So I kind of just jumped on the chance a few years ago. My contacts within the ports to set up the Sustainable Ports Association.
So I guess that ties in, like you say, from a sustainability angle, where we're all heading to
Absolutely.
in the UK, Europe, worldwide. So is that sort of tying with your mission of what the association is trying to achieve with ports in the UK?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, 80% of the supply chain is in control of the port's carbon. So we're
It's
on
huge, isn't it?
massive.
Yeah.
I mean, we're on a bit of a double-edged sword. If you know, we're obviously helping our members out with their ESG compliance and obviously their sustainability, making sure they're reaching all the sustainable goals.
Yeah.
And on the other side of it as well, we're working with sustainability managers, CFOs, even down to the maintenance guys to ensure that everything they do is sustainable.
And do you think, is it being, I guess, clearly you're being welcomed. You're in pretty much every port, so
Yes.
you've got the access everywhere. Is it something you think that the ports are actively now stepping up and doing something about?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's not the case of wanting to. Unfortunately, we are speaking to harbour masters at an age, generational. Been talking to dirty diesel.
Yeah.
Got no interest. But obviously, with the rise of energy costs and things like that, you know, obviously costings is a massive thing within the ports at the moment. Some of these ports are spending at least £500,000 a year, just on their energy consumption. So obviously, as we can tie in with sustainability.
Yeah.
Making sure there's green shipping EV vehicles on the ports. Then obviously that is with all the that kind of side of things, you know, it is ramping down to helping these guys out.
Obviously, you mentioned it's your, I won't say kink, but I will.
Yeah.
But it's your thing. Like, it's, you know, you love the ports. What is it specifically that excites you about it? Like, what it's something that clearly tickles your fancy, something that really gets you going about this. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I go to a port every week, day in, day out. You know, and you still get that real excitement of going onto a port and seeing a big 200-foot cruise liner, big ro-ro combination boat. You know, you've seen a real sort of demand of, and obviously it's not just the ports really. I mean, the ports they're number one in the energy usage. You see these big boats from like. No mentions names of cruise liners, but they're docked up on a port for 8 hours a day, you know, just pumping out dirty diesel, you know. And obviously, if there is a big change, not just within this country but globally, you know, these big energy users need to be supported more than anything.
No, it makes sense. I guess it's a bit like being behind the scenes at a movie, because you see what goes on. Because obviously, like you say, generally the public doesn't see what goes on in port, and they don't see how much is actually being moved worldwide daily via boat.
No,
and across the world.
No, that's right. I mean, you do your orders from Temu, and 2 weeks later it's on you. So that there's transitioned. Has come on a boat. You know, it's gone into a van. It's gone into a van. Hopefully bought from Vanaways. So we'll plug that one in.
Thank you. If not, come and buy them too.
Yeah, they're a good setup. And obviously, what that does, it comes to your door, and people don't really think about things like that, you know.
Yeah.
But obviously, as time comes on, obviously everyone is talking about sustainability.
Yeah.
Even things like the low-emission zones and things like that. You know, everyone needs to play their part.
100%. And like you're saying, there's clearly challenges, I guess, when you're dealing with the ports. They're 24/7 as well. So
Absolutely.
like you talked about, I guess, the demographic of people who have worked in the ports for a number of years, and their maybe lack of interest in change right now, or the sustainability. What other sort of challenges do you face, or do you find the ports face?
Costs, really, to be funding. They're obviously being pushed to be sustainable by 2050. Not really a lot of funds coming on board. From government. There is a few funds here and there, but this is obviously where we're stepping in to help these ports. Obviously with doing things like PPA agreements, solar, battery energy storage, shore power, obviously EV vehicles, EV charging. Using these as an element of obviously helping these guys out with sustainability and obviously reducing their energy costs at the same time.
And then we mentioned this earlier when we met this morning, that we're going to go layman's terms and just think who's the most obvious high users of and high consumers of energy and fuels, and the natural ones are airports and the ports.
100%.
What else? What other sort of large infrastructure areas sort of compare to the ports, or are they not? Is it that huge? Yeah. Is there anything else that sort of touches that type of energy consumption?
I wouldn't say there is, to be honest with you. No.
So it's got to change.
It's got to change. Yeah. It's got to change. It needs to change. There is a lot of burden with the ports, obviously. Yeah. Due to obviously the change in demand. I mean, if for instance you go down to DP World, you've got big organisations on there like Amazon. Yeah. Next, Marks and Spencers. You see a multitude of people on the ports, 1,000 metres of warehouse storage, all pumping out energy. So this is the real change for demand.
And the positive side is, but yes, there's the challenges, but there's clearly a genuine shift now within the maritime sector to do something about it, because if they are one of the biggest consumers, they know they're being looked at.
Absolutely.
And them making a small change could be a huge impact, say, on the planet, but in regards to every government's mandate worldwide of where they need to get to. So there clearly is a demand. You guys are obviously doing a great job as well in the education, the advisory side, would you say? Is it education, do you think?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, let's be honest with you, a job role, which is a very new job role on the ports, which is the head of sustainability. Mm-hmm. That job role, really, to be honest with you, has only been going for the past 4 or 5 years. So the way I say that is, it's like being a driving instructor in the 1700s. It didn't exist, so everyone's learning on the job. And we always say this, and one of our mottos within the association is the reason why we've built up the alliance is we can't do this on our own, and the ports can't do it on their own. So if we educate everyone with sustainability and obviously educate the supply chain, give them as much information for their benefits to obviously become sustainable, and obviously what that does, it benefits the ports at the same time.
100%. And I guess, you answered my next question, which was based around that. It's like that importance of the partners working together and your members working together. What's sort of like the makeup of like your membership? Like obviously you've got the ports that you obviously advise in and you work on behalf of. Obviously Vanaways has obviously recently partnered with you guys as well. Great, but what other type of organisations do you find that you do work with to obviously be able to pass on that sustainability function to the ports? I
mean, obviously, the big topic on this at the moment, it seems to be all around the solar, but obviously with the partnerships, with that kind of thing, it sort of leads onto a big direction. So you've got the guys putting the PPA solar, and obviously you've got the guys leading down the line. Mm-hmm. Bit of a chain reaction. So you've got the battery energy storage, which leads off to the EV charging. Yeah. Then we speak to the ports, why you have an EV charging? Or we need fleets of vans. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Then obviously that's where Vanaways gets involved. Then off the Vanaways, we have companies that do things like lubrications, even sort of biofuel. Then obviously we've got the non-lithium batteries, which seems to be a bit of a strange one. So yeah, it's like building up a big family, really. I mean, obviously when you come over to Dublin next month to one of our events, you'll see a good 50 of our supply chain just mingling, networking, and 9 times out of 10, there is a lot of business that's done even without us knowing.
Well, it's collaborative, isn't it? Like people, exactly. I think when people attend one of your events, they're going with purpose because, like you said, it's for a lot of the people that are involved. It might be new to them in their role.
That's it.
Or that they've been brought in specifically to do something and you've got a blank piece of paper.
Absolutely.
And you've got to work with the knowledge of what you pick up elsewhere.
Absolutely.
You've got to make those connections. You've got to form those same partnerships within your own port and work out the best way to work together. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting actually because even like ports, they need solutions to become sustainable.
Yeah.
So you've actually got things like within the association, like the road energy harvesting, that they're not going to contact us and say, "Oh, Aaron, can we have road energy harvesting within the ports?" What we do is we introduce these into the ports and actually build up a demand. They actually go, "Actually, that will work. That we would need that." Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of new innovation projects being pushed into the ports. For instance, like on offshore solar, tidal wave energy. This is a big solution to obviously help our ports with sustainability.
Buying a van has never been easier. Award-winning 5-star service, free delivery and no hassle. So why wait? For vans without the drama, call us today on 0117 428 7721 or visit vanaways.co.uk. Your perfect van is just a few clicks away.
And that sustainability front, I guess, like you say, reason we sort of partner up with you from Vanaways is obviously we do a lot within the EV sector.
Yes.
We're starting to see that increase in demand for EV.
Yeah.
And obviously we've dealt with Bristol Port Authority for a while as well. We have supplied them electric vehicles, obviously, in the past. So, I mean, are you starting to see that demand coming through? Obviously, that's obviously how we've started working together as well. Is there, do you think that's quite an easy shift for ports to make? Because vehicles are available, infrastructure is not too difficult for them to put in, and obviously with the help of the association and the help of your partners, is it something that you're seeing that fleet expansion or fleet transition maybe to EV is quite quick and easy for them to do?
It's an easy solution, isn't it? You know, because you've obviously the ports got a fleet of vans, you've got maintenance guys driving around the ports day in, day out. Yeah. Obviously with the things like the solar and all that with the EV charging, that to them is free energy. Yeah. Obviously, you've got a big thing coming out called the UK ETS, which obviously is carbon reporting. So every ton of carbon you use, you have to offset it. So we're just looking at quick solutions right now, and EV seems to be a real sort of big demand. I mean, we're looking at the Maxus, the big 4x4 truck, the pickup truck, which would be great for maintenance, and obviously all the way down to the Transit Connects. Yeah, and what other vehicles is it you do? You've got the
Well, we've got everything. I mean, from an electric perspective, it's great because obviously manufacturer-wise, now today we've got as small as the Dacia Spring Cargo, obviously through Renault Group. Renault obviously launched the new E-Master as well this year, one van of the year, pretty much everywhere. E-Traffic. Then again, you look on the Citroens, all the Stellantis range, Ford, your full customs in electric now. So I think it's become easier from a customer perspective to consider electric because the vehicle that they want is available in electric. And as you say, whether it be through, funny enough, like with, Maxus, 100%, Maxus as electric pickup. We've got Ford will be bringing the electric Range will come in 2027. So you're starting to see that the demand is clearly there for those products, and the manufacturers are now turning up and having those products. And also, I just think you're seeing a shift in how good the vehicles are now. The reliability's there, the range is starting to improve. When I was on with Ralph on our inaugural podcast, Ralph Morton from Broken News, we talked about this, is that there's been a lot of things that have had to change with electric vehicles for them to get to where they've got to today. Some of the issues come that if people remember how it was years ago, they don't want to go down that route. Now it's re-education.
That's it.
But like you said, I think from a port's perspective, it's that's quite an easy sustainability route to follow. By putting that infrastructure in, it's quite straightforward. It exists today. It's not like we're waiting for emerging technologies, and the vehicles are readily available, and affordability-wise, still government grants, etc. So that it's worth doing.
100%.
What on the flip side of that, what would you say is the hardest thing from a sustainability perspective for the ports to do? I'm guessing
mindset.
Fuel. I'm guessing fuel. Oh, mindset definitely.
Fuel.
Okay.
Fuel. Cost of fuel at the moment is absolutely ridiculous. You
talked about electric. The EV boats are starting to now. It's starting to exist. I guess for the smaller movements and things around the ports.
Yeah, we've got the smaller tugs with Svitzer. We've got Rob, who does the Eco Cat. Lovely bit of kit. It's like a little boating Swiss Army knife.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so I've had a little drive around on that. It's absolutely fantastic. Yeah,
love that, and that's crazy because again, you're thinking all parts of that spectrum can be covered.
Yeah,
it's just got to be the want, like you say, and the mindset's got to be there to do it.
That's it.
So over the next sort of 5 to 10 years, we're edging towards 2035 for us in regards to our vehicles and electric vehicles.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tough, but I think we're never going to be 100%. 2050
Never.
overall, full carbon neutral. Like in regards to how difficult do you think the next 5 to 10 years will be for the ports?
We won't talk about government.
We'll try not to. We'll try and be impartial here.
Yeah, we're impartial about government. Yeah, but yeah, it's cash flow really. It's the difference between making a profit and a loss. So we're obviously backing up a finance arm here at the association. So obviously, one of the main focuses really, to be honest with you, is to support airports with the costings element, and obviously the energy, the water rates, fleet costs, fuel costs. So really, to be honest with you, is monetary.
Yeah. And the good thing is we've got Vanaways here.
Yes.
You guys are having a chat with this afternoon.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And again, I think if there's funding options and things that can be offered out to the ports, then that's another way for them to be able to make the change a little bit quicker. So
absolutely.
And it's always going to be a challenge, right? Finance side.
Yeah.
I guess as to try and not make it political in any way, but what do you think does need to change, like in the next 5-10 years? You can be open as you like as well. But what does need to change to help you guys complete your mission in regards to what the association is trying to do, and just the sustainability of ports worldwide? What needs to change?
I think the support mechanism needs to be a little bit more fruitful for the ports, because they do make a big impact on this.
And not just financial, I'm guessing.
No, not at all. I mean, for instance, you go to Peel Ports in Liverpool, you go to Workington, one of our members, the whole community is built up around the ports. So for instance, to make a profit within a port is so impactful for the community, because they've had generations of people working there. So obviously looking after the future of a port is a massive impact, which is something that we're dead keen on working with our ports. Not even just that, to be honest with you. I think support-wise, I think there needs to be a lot more education. I think sustainability just isn't about the environment, it's about our future. I think we should be working, which is something we're dead keen on, is working in a lot of schools, colleges, universities. And obviously the Department of Work and Pension, just to showcase that, the ports are an exciting
place to work and be.
Very similar to Vanaways, it's something that, we should be pushing for the future. And I think that's something we're dead keen on.
Love that. I guess last question is, from your perspective, obviously you're a growing membership association.
Yeah.
If people do want to be involved with the Sustainable Port Association, how do they get in touch? What do they need to do? What do you look for in when you're getting members on board?
Just send a message on LinkedIn. You'll probably see one of my 50,000 posts a day.
Very similar to
Liam. Liam's on about 100,000, but I do not post on Christmas Day.
No, you do have a day off.
I have a day off. Or just chuck us an email, membership at sustainable-ports.com, or just come along to one of our events.
I was going to say, like you said, your events are up and down the country. They're on all year, so it's always worth checking out where you're at and what's going on.
Absolutely.
But you're a welcoming association, aren't
Absolutely.
you? So at the end of the day, it only works by you guys all collaborating and everyone working together.
Absolutely. And what's what we say, we can't do it on our own.
No, 100%. Yeah. Love that. Aaron, thanks so much. It's been really great having you on. And I wish the association all the best for the future. You've got a huge job on your your hands. And Vanaways are really pleased to be working with you guys on this, and hopefully doing a lot more on the vehicle side for the ports over the next
100%.
few years. So it'd be great.
Yeah, we'll make sure it happen.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Cheers.
Thanks, Steve.